Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first official Underpeel broadcast. Today, we have the two finalists from the Underpeel Season 1, Team X and Team 6 Eyes. They've battled throughout an intense bracket to be here today to play a best of 3. And unlike Riot Games, we're actually going to start on time. Knock on wood. They've done their map picks. They're preparing to go into game. I've got casters on standby. Get your wagers in now. Head over to the Raffles and Predictions channel and place all your Hooch bucks right now on whichever 2-3 team you think is going to take it. I'm getting confirmation right now, but I believe the first map will be Haven. I will be providing analysis between the games. First map is Haven. Locked in. I'd also like to let you know that the game is on a delay. However, your viewership of this broadcast is not on delay. What that means is you can interact with the casters live and with me live while still watching the game on a delay. Courtesy of our spectators streaming the game through Twitch on a delay to me, to the casters. The game is about to begin. All right, 4 p.m. is upon us. The lobby has been formed. I see all 10 players ready to play. Are you guys excited? The delay's catching up to us. They're about to enter Agent Select. All right, we're loading into Haven. We're entering Agent Select. I'm about to start the broadcast. I'm going to hand you over to our beautiful casters, Keg and Kremer 3.
Hello,
Have fun with it, guys. Bye.
Hello, everyone! My name is Keg, and I'm joined by Kremer. We have the Underpeel Grand Finals. It's wild to think that we've had this amazing journey already. We're getting started with game number 1, but you have to ask yourself, Kremer, if you're coming into just the Grand Finals, you only wanted to see the best of the best left, who are we facing with?
That's an open-ended question. It absolutely is. Of course, we have 6 Eyes taking on Team X. Now, I won't lie, Keg. There are 2 players in here. I'm just going to open it up with these 2 players who've caught my eye. And that's Chase and, I believe, Crazed. And do you want to know what's interesting about these guys, Keg?
Ooh, lay it on me.
I'm going to tell you what their ranks are. Crazed is Silver 2 and Chase is Silver 1. And they are the 2 lowest ranked players in the tournament. But their teammates are also very high ranked. And so what's happened is in the preseason, these guys have gone into these games, everyone has seen the low-ranked player and gone, oh, this will be easy, and then they've been stomped. Neither of these teams have lost a map so far.
That's wild. And of course, like, you're at the Grand Finals. One of these teams obviously needs to lose out here in the Grand Finals and not have that flawless run anymore. But it brings up an interesting conversation, though, right? It's like, you know, how much do ranks actually matter, right? If you have a well-structured team like these guys do. And
you're going to upset a lot of people, Keg, with that.
I like upsetting people, you know? It's all relative, right? You know, you could say that you're a silver player, but when you're solo queuing in a lobby full of Reynas that are just running it down, it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to escape silver at times doing that. But now that there's structure in play, there are set strats, you have your Vibers in here as well. I'm curious to see how this is going to start up. I want to talk about the Phoenix pick really quick, because you and I, in our experience with like VCT and just casting Valorant stuff, we don't really get to see Phoenix too often. I know you focus more on the EMEA side. I'm more of an NA enjoyer. We don't really get to see Phoenix that often from my side of things. So I'm curious to know from across the pond, what's your experience with a Phoenix on a map like Haven?
I mean, let's be honest. Is NA VCT really VCT level? I mean, yeah, there's an argument to be made there.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna
Phoenix is really interesting. Phoenix is really interesting because he's a very self-sustained heavy agent. So when you have a Phoenix on your team, you can just send him off into positions to try and find a kill. If he can, awesome. If not, he can fall back. If he takes damage, he can heal himself. He can flash himself out. And so because of that, on a map like Haven, a lot of your marauding on the extremities is going to be done with that Phoenix. So a lot of pressure gets put on your duelists when you do bring a Phoenix into the map.
Oh, speaking of which, though, that Phoenix Mini-Moth might be pressured any second from now. It's really a matter of what kind of utility Brodsky wants to bring out here. Waiting right outside garage doors, expecting someone to maybe flash and swing out, but instead the onus is on France to step on forwards, a false step. Kunichi now all over side B, taking at least attempting full backside control. Early trades go through Kremer, but again, as we attempt to see the attacking team push forward, they're losing out one by one. Olim's good for 3. And what's left? That was Lin. Good for 1, but at what cost? It's just tired to shut it all down. At least the spike plan had gone down for the attacking team.
That is the silver lining, isn't it, Keg? And what you find with, and I imagine we're going to see this quite a lot on Haven, is the faster you go into a retake, the easier the site actually is to retake, especially on B and against the likes of, against the composition that the attackers are currently running. They have that Killjoy for the afterplant utility. If you can kill that Killjoy before she actually gets off the site, even if the rest of them are playing from window, bottom, and mid, you can just smoke it off and defuse, because there's very little utility past that to actually damage you. So there's a gap potentially in the comp that can be exploited here. And, well, in the pistol round, they do it beautifully. They get on top of those attackers, they make sure that they can't get off the site, and it's a bit of a slaughter. And hey, the Raze gets to look cool while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we could talk about strategy and stuff all day long. As long as you're looking cool, you're going to have a lot more of a benefit playing inside Valorant, right? More likely to be featured on stream. But I think it feels like in the early round, Team X had this expectation of a fast aggression. In fact, both teams were really looking to see who would just go for that opening pick first, but Uncharacteristically, I would say, even for like the upper level of challengers or LCQs, a lot of these opening non-rifle teams love to just run it down and play super aggressive to play for those picks, but instead it's slow. Kunichi, the first to fall, the entry potential now coming out from 6 Eyes is going to be lowered quite a bit more. The only sort of entry potential you have in terms of mobility now would be down the Deca. And with a grenade to the face, it seems less and less likely that anybody on this attacking team could escape outside of A lobby. And there's no chance of doing so. A flawless round coming out from Team X.
You know what's brutal about the Raze nade, like just as a premise, is when paint gets really hot, it becomes sticky. So Raze is sort of semi-violating the Geneva Convention by just existing in Valorant. It's kind of cool.
It's like burning styrofoam, right?
Yeah.
Flamethrower? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard. I tell you what, I quite like how this Phoenix is being run, because we are seeing that aggression that we were expecting on the extremities, and that being that constant push to try and get map control. And the sooner you take the fighter's defense, the sooner you know what your attackers are actually planning. We are finally seeing Olim get taken down. I was beginning to think he's kind of immortal, but that's slowly been nipped in the bud.
Now, Olim has been playing incredibly so far. Just these early round reads I've been very impressed with. Do you remember when Raze back in the beta had double nades? Does that make her like a double war criminal?
I feel like when you have Viper as well, like
the
sticky paint becomes like such a small war crime that no one really cares about it.
Which
also,
agent would commit the
war
most
crimes are only decided by the winner. So
true.
As long as you win the map, it's okay.
So, I mean, right now, 6 Eyes, they have the lead. Should we ask them after this game how many war crimes Team X committed?
Should be something we keep track of.
Yeah, but we need the ticket for this for the next season to see how many war crimes each team commits per game. But this is full C-site control. There hasn't been a response so far from Team X. They love to play really reactive in the post-plan situations. Owl moves to the spot out at least one, and Chase is there to get those early trades. The attempt there to follow up, it's going to be Mini-Moth, and that's good. But again, when you go trade for trades, already starting off in a 4v5, you're losing more and more bodies if you're on Team X's side. They only have 2 left alive now, and Deca has the read on 1, but he's dancing around that nebula to make sure he can play for safety. Powers and numbers right now. Deca hides away and goes for the Shrouded Step into safety, but just the timing almost a little too late there. It's going to leave one sacrificed away. Lin now down, leaving everyone else with a 2v2. It's going to be Brodsky with a wide swing, not once, but twice over to the 3Ks out, and finally we can see a competitive game.
I tell you what, we see 2 very cool bits of strategy there. Firstly, from the Sky and the Omen in that 2 versus 2. When you are in that position, you don't have anything to damage the bomb. So you are just constantly going to be spamming utility, hoping that this will give you some form of advantage. And so hitting the Paranoia means that they're not going to be able to swing you. The follow-up flash means you buy even more time, and you just run down that clock till that spike goes off. And then the other cool thing we saw from our defenders there is, I'm not sure if you saw them go into that retake, but they completely cancelled over execution they were going for. They paused, dictated the pace going into that retake, and yes, they ended up losing the aim duels, but the fact they were able to just go into that retake, to stop, to pause, to think of how they're going to retake that C site, it was very, very cool bit of tech there, and something you actually don't see until you get to the higher levels of teams.
That's true. I mean, again, the big difference between, like, even like a challengers team to like a VCT, like well, I guess for me it would be Americas, and like you for EMEA would be just like overall team coordination and just how a team reacts into certain protocols. And with a structure of a tournament like this, we are seeing that at a much higher level than I think you and I were expecting to see. And there's a reason why these teams have made it to the grand finals. There is an alarm bot though in B main. This is making me nervous for Kunichi. Almost spotted out by that recon bolt. If it gets detonated right here, right now, the entirety of Team X is going to surround B site.
Oh, I like the follow-up there. Chance tries to go and instantly caught out once the attention was drawn away from the jet there. Really cool bit of push and pulling of the defender's positioning, but they seem to have read this rotation away really damn quickly. And with only 30 seconds left, there's no pussyfooting about here. They actually have to get onto this site as quick as possible. The Omen smokes are a bit deep, which is going to allow the Sova to swing, However, actually killing them is going to be the big problem here. Lineups of preps, and that is actually going to be perfect if it lands. And it's a lot of damage. He actually gets the Sky as well.
Really? It gets the kill? No way! Dude, that's for the highlight reel right there. And Kunichi's able to be there for the follow-up towards behind. Though Minimoth on a heater right now, a 3K, one of which from the utility, has full control of what I would consider to be one of the hardest sites in the game to retake.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was an incredible little hot hands from Minimoth there. Very, very cool. And I tell you what, that was so circumstantial. There's no way they could have prepped for that. He would obviously know the lineup, but to know to not push with his team, instead to save the utility to prevent the plant because there was only about 15 seconds left, really, really smart play from the Phoenix. And we said at the start, didn't we, Keg, that the Phoenix and the Raids have to perform here in order for the rest of the team to be able to follow up that momentum. The fact that they've opened this well is a pretty good sign, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes to show like how coordinated and how good the comms are for both of these teams. I'm surprised to see a Phoenix perform so well. I'm not really a big fan of Phoenix overall in terms of his kit, and I'm sure, you know, you and Woohoojin could say a lot maybe otherwise, but, you know, if you have a Phoenix out, I'm always just thinking to myself, like, look, if you don't need to kill yourself too much, just go for a KO, because the flashes are so good on both of those options, but it really plays into the fact of how Team X are playing. They do not push out immediately into a round. They're playing very reactive to see where the attacking team wants to put that spike down and play for a full team-wide coordinated retake. I mean, take Kunichi, for example. Way out in the open, reacting to the Sova drone, backs away to the backside of the site, and it's Minimoth again to go for the full retake. Good lord. And hey, the Molly returns.
We'll switch to the shorty there to try and get the 4K. If the Slowman wins this, I will be amazed. Through the wall down to 15 HP. Not much you can do there. And I know you hate Phoenix because sometimes his utility can backfire a bit. But the reason I hate K is because from pretty much since Valorant's release, every time I talk to an American now, they attempt the Phoenix accent. Just sort of like a way of showing unity with English people. Yeah, man, it's been rough. It's been rough. And
well, let's flip it around. Let's hear your best American accent.
A lot of the time, luckily, we've already been paid for this, so I can't reject this, renounce it. However,
he's like, oh my god, who did I hire?
Yeah, every time people find out I'm British, I get like the American, wait, you're British? And what else? Can you say bottle of water for me? I hear that a lot as well.
I cringe so hard when people say that, because like people will be like, oh, I can do a British accent, and they say like the same 3 sentences over and over again. It's like saying, oh, I'm a bit of an impressionist myself, and they quote like Kermit the Frog. Everyone and their mother can do a Kermit the Frog impression. I'm glad we're getting these rants out of the way now. I have a lot of things
Someone
I
in
can
the
rant
chat
about.
has said, at least you're not French.
I was waiting for how long it would take to get there. Not that long, but I mean, we have a chamber already. I was gonna say I'm waiting for when the chamber comes by, but we've already had him in the server. And the fact that we've gone this long without talking about someone being French in this game is wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can't win everything, right? Right, can't land W's all the time. There has to be a few L's in there, and I guess the addition of Chamber certainly, certainly is going to matter in the work.
Because Chamber's voice actor Hugo, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I think it all just stems from jealousy because Chamber sounds hot, man. Like,
okay, you know, obviously we're not here to like promote our content or anything, but like in my streams, like we debate about Chamber almost every single day, and I'm like, he's okay looking. His haircut looks really silly though. He looks like like a Lego block.
Everyone can have their preferences, okay? And it just so happens
with that haircut?
Wrong. Yeah, with that haircut.
Really?
Look at him, man.
10 seconds left.
He looks like Minecraft Steve with that haircut. There's nothing on the sides. He looks like an asparagus, a human asparagus with hair.
Again, this sounds like it's coming from jealousy.
I'm not jealous. You've seen how much hair I have. I have at least one more strand more than he does.
I can vouch at least one more strand. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though.
I'll email it to you.
That would actually be awesome, yeah, please. I tell you what, while we were debating the French, what was kind of cool there is we saw another use of utility to prevent the spike plant on A there, which is Olim's nades. So we could see that even though this defensive side haven't really, when they're not pushing the extremities on A, they're listing very heavily towards garage, towards mid, towards C long. It's because they can play a retake A setup, so they're very clearly practiced. And for our defenders here, we see the tour de force come out. I mean, listen to that voice, Keck. How can you not love that? And
I like Hugo. I just think Chambers' haircut's silly. Oh, but a shoulder was spotted. No! Caught off guard, didn't fully clear out that corner.
In this duel, Raze has been running circles around Chambers so far on this sort of A-long fight.
No, I mean, I was just talking about how we didn't really talk about Chamber too much. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot there was a Chamber in this lobby. And it feels like to me, the big onus right now for Six Eyes is just getting onto the site and getting that spike down. And that means there's not a whole lot of pressure in the early round being applied to Team X. They can save all that utility that we've been complimenting out of the wazoo, because things like Raze nades and Phoenix hot hands haven't had a reason to be used until that spike goes down for the retake.
Yeah. Big chance to delay it as well, and well, it looks like again Spike doesn't go down this time, and with the tour de force used, we may end up having to see our first like proper eco of the game here.
True. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the response is going to be here. We can see a little bit of debating coming out from the buy options here. Light shields across the board, kind of the FPX route that we're seeing coming out from the attacking team. I have a debate for you though, and
I'm so ready.
For the NA side of things, it feels like I had to hold myself back every time I cast Haven or Ascend on this. Now, normally it's with a Jet, but because there's no Jet coming out from Team X, it has to be Raze like as the de facto Jet here. How do you feel about defensive opping on this map?
I really like it. Bearing in mind that you've got 3 sites to defend, if you can get an op posted on one of those angles, you then instantly can rotate that extra player to help elsewhere. So it's a really, really effective bit of effective weapon to use, and we see it there. Raze can hold C solo, takes a peek into Garage, and look how defensive the players in Garage now are. They're being fair, they're shifting back and forth. They don't want to risk pushing up into C site because of the threat of that op. But there's only one player there.
But
so it's very good at isolating.
It's a good isolator, you're completely right. But let me throw a hypothetical at you. Let's say that the attacking team is not pressuring Olim at the beginning of the round. Because for the most part, it does feel like Six Eyes are playing directly to where Olim is scoped in. But in a lot of tournaments, we'll see these Jet ops play on the exact other side of the map at the beginning of the round. It's not really the fault of the Jet. You don't have that info at the exact start of the round. But oftentimes, you'll see these defensive teams engaging in a 4v5 for the retake, just so, say, in theory, this Jet is able to save that up. And to me, it's almost like golden handcuffs, where like you want to save the investment for this op, but you're not finding the return on it. So I'm glad Olim's finding impact here. You mentioned that perfectly. But in theory, right?
When you have an op like that and they're not on your position, your options are you fast rotate to another part of the map, and the other option is you just push with that operator and you take even more map control. And usually it should be the latter, pushing even further. However, it's down to the stylistic play of that, whoever it is who's wielding that op. And we see Olim now. Peeked on the initial angle, didn't see anyone. It's instead gone for fast rotation into Heaven, and now he knows this is an A hit. It's now just a matter of getting set up for the retake and maybe preventing the push hit.
Oh, but Olim falls. Operator now lost. Big thing to consider right now is that there's double Killjoy ultimates here. The lockdown's gonna be employed defensively for the beginning of the round. There is no Hunter's Fury coming out from Six Eyes because they lack the Sova. But there is one just in case Chase does bring him down a lockdown of their own. This could be a good way though for the attacking team to bait out both very impactful ultimates that the team does have. If we see Chase bring down that lockdown, it's almost guaranteed to be destroyed by the Hunter's Fury.
And if you look at how the Killjoy is positioned here, any push to B is going to be stopped. So the attackers actually not going to B, they're going to C. But by the time they get to this site, they're not going to have much time left at all. And it's a very slow rotation from Kobos here. So the spike is going to go down. Let's see if the Sova is going to try and cancel the plan here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this works. Because in theory, if he brings it out too early, then for the retake, you can have Chase then bring out the lockdown and effectively win their third round. But the timing here needs to be so important. That Sova's Hunter's Fury did not find a lot of impact. Didn't find a kill. Don't believe any damage at that as well. But I like this lockdown.
I'm very surprised actually that Cobalt is even going for a peek here. Maybe actually exploiting the fact that everyone's maybe taking their eye off the ball. Really, really strong stuff. And yes, they do lose a player. However, you have been able to force it down to the low HP Sky and the Jet. So there's no utility to just slap on the bomb or spike it.
Oh, Kunichi dividing out these 1v1s. So powerful. Double swing. Well, at least the attempted double swing was there, but still no opportunities for the defuse at all. Really good stall coming up from Kunichi there. And honestly, had we seen the Phoenix's position just be a little bit farther back, Kunichi may have been good for the 1v3.
What I really like actually is sort of that round was played a bit like a flowchart where you've got to sight, Hunter's Fury is used. Hunter's Fury is used means you can use the lockdown. Use the lockdown. Push to try and catch the players off guard from the lockdown. Lockdown goes off, fast retake, no time, round ends. And it's a very, very methodical way to play that round. And you know, I quite like it because when you play that methodically, it's very easy to extrapolate what's gone wrong and where.
It really adds like this kind of chess match momentum to Valorant that I feel like a lot of other games are lacking. Because
I know that Woho hates the fact that I've just called this round a flowchart, but you know what? What's he gonna do? Mute me? Actually, probably just that. But
well, I'm thinking like, you know, Detroit Become Human, how there's different flowcharts and stuff depending on what the actions are. It's pretty much like
exactly.
That, right? I mean, it's pretty similar, but it really does add this like kind of fourth layer of chess that comes out from a takt FPS game that a lot of other ones are lacking out. But speaking of which, though, speaking of speed, you can speed chess sometimes, but all this utility is being baited out against the defense. Okay. Pop Flash didn't quite find a lot there. Kunichi loves the default and lurk up B. Every single round, the alarm bot is there. But you can see the respect being given out now by Team X. They're expecting to see some of that utility, possibly the position of that alarm bot being either destroyed or pushed up and used. And it's B side once more. You have to look at those ultimates again. I'm looking at the Cosmic Divide. This could be a really good way of locking in the likes of Kunichi inside of B if that spike goes down.
30 seconds left.
And again, look at the pace being slowed here. I tell you what, these attackers, they are really waiting till there's about 30 seconds left before they actually go for these plants. And I don't know how I feel about using the Astra pull that early. It has actually worked, which is very surprising. But I'll tell you what, now 15 seconds left, they got to get this plant quick.
It seemed like to me that maybe we were expecting to have the grab well into the nades to get like that kind of insta-kill factor there, and I think the timing was just slightly off. But Cosmic Divide was brought out, locked everyone in the B site, and I think there was that kind of shock surprise factor too, where I do agree, I think the grab wall came just a tiny bit too early, but at least it was enough to help set up the rest of Team X to go for that team-wide retake without even the spike going down.
I've got a bit of trivia for you, Keg.
Uh-oh.
Do you know what Chase's first name is?
Bank?
No, it's Owen. Owen 10. Okay, well, right. That's Keg's going to continue the cast now. See you all in a bit.
Wow, we got a comedian here, huh? I see how it is. Well, that's okay, though, because guess what? We have another Thrifty round underway. Kunichi's good for the opening pick. Kraus has fallen, but at what cost? A lot of info gathering now, loss underway for Team X, but they still have the Killjoy alive. Problem is, though, is that the majority for utilities over towards B and C, not towards A. This means now the pressure's now on for the attacking team. It's up to 6 eyes to see if they can make their way onto site without a lack of information, but because the Sova's now gone, the majority of the defense now rotates back over to A and takes a very stalwart appearance, holding those angles for the aggressive entry. They do have a Jet. The Jet and the Flash is on top. Coming out will be a great for the Pop Flash maneuver. Kunichi's ready to come out with the dash, and it's up now to Minimus to see, can they go for the Flash and the retake, but instead they wide swing to high heaven. And we talked so much about that Killjoy. She's the last one alive now, and she's just tired. Hopefully not asleep at the wheel here for the 1v4 potential retake. Kunichi's out for blood, though. Shark in the water, looking to find at least one more, and a solid 3K off of a Thrifty round to help solidify things and make this map competitive once more.
In the half.
So now we have a problem with the Phoenix becoming that sort of self-activating agent, and that problem is when you're in a 3-man stack on a site, the Phoenix flashed to peek short, but in the process flashed the player on the close left angle. So when they ended up coming up long, it was just an easy kill. And we're now contractually obligated to mention that this game is somewhat of a slobber knocker. Because, I mean, at 7-4, this could be fairly close here, Keg.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, historically, Haven's always been one of those more attacker-sided maps. There have been some little blips in the metas where it became really defender-sided, and we're pretty much at the point now where it's just more agent decided. I mean, we have one singular Sentinel, but we have a lot of Sentinel-esque capabilities to stall out attacking teams coming out from Team X's side. I'm looking at, say, the majority of Astra's utility. The way Olim's been utilizing early round paint nades has been good to stall out the attack. All of that really kind of adds up. However, I do think if we swap the sides, I think Team X is going to find a lot more value than what we would normally see from a defensive Haven. They have Chamber for that early hold in the beginning of each round. You have Killjoy, they're locked down B and C's. And from there on, you have a lot more fluid, floaty capabilities from Sky, Jet, and Omen to rotate around when need be.
I quite like how they've sent the Chamber here to make the first peak almost on their own here to try and get that early information. It means that the rest of the team can sort of find a way to counteract this push into A. And you see the pull and the push and the pull around the map here. With the rest of this attack side now having lost their main control, they're starting to push into Garage. They're going to try and get this momentum to get onto C. But I tell you what, the defenders, they've positioned themselves beautifully. They've figured out where the counter push is going to come from. And now, well, it's down to the Astra.
The big question is right now, how is the flank going to look? Olim on their way, fast traveling back over to the end part of C. Chamber and Killjoy still alive though. Should be plenty of capabilities to ensure that the utility will spot out at least Olim for the defense, but Chamber falls in the process. That being said though, a split push for what's left now for the defense. One left alive now, it's up to Kunichi. We talked about the potential 1v3 on C site just a few rounds ago, but not nearly the same effect as we had seen back then. A good defuse coming underway.
That's a half. I tell you what, 7 rounds, or sorry, 8 rounds, I do apologize, let's not sell anyone short here. 8 rounds on defensive Haven is pretty bloody good. I'm really worried, especially with a Phoenix, how they're going to make up for that differential, because the Phoenix now essentially becomes your lurker, but because he's the heavy hitter for the team, I don't know how it's going to work with the Rays having to be the win condition on these entries, especially when you look at how everyone else is performing. If that Raze goes down, how likely is he going to be traded?
You could have many mods that lurk, but the problem is you wouldn't have entry flashes anymore. You'd have to go for a split push every single round and really rely on Olims just double blast packing into the back of a site, overwhelming any of those defenders. If there had to be a lurker, I think you can make a strong argument that an Astra would need to take that role, at the very least as like an anti-flank watch to help out Killjoy. The problem is though, is that this is a really glass cannon comp at times coming out for the likes of Team X. They have to be very careful here.
They really do, and I like this push, this slow control of sewers here. And they go to accelerate after the kill of the turret, and to be honest, I'd rather have seen them slowed it down, but nonetheless, it's a retake setup on A again, the same sort of retake setup that we saw from, I believe it was Team X on the first half.
Spike planted.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I wrote down both teams and what sides they're on, because I'm looking at the Discord feed, right? We don't have the program feed on. So I wrote it down. I'm hoping I've been saying the right team names the whole time. But look at this graffiti hold coming out from Craze. Really good for the split push coming through. A double swing from the back of Hell was so strong. Deka and Lindo holding down, trying to retake the site. All that's left now is a 2v2. 4 HP in a dream. The shrouded step underway. Combos! Beautiful for the spray transfer off of that classic. Did not fire too quickly and was good for both shots. What a great way of shutting down that A site.
That was a hell of a retake attempt, though, nonetheless. And even though it didn't quite go the way of our defenders, the fact they were able to take a 5 versus 2 into a 2 versus 2 is pretty damn impressive. However, not quite enough. And I'm going to call you up on something, Cake, because you know I'm a bit of a gun nut. A classic spray.
I mean, you know, a lot of the time you can kind of spray with the classic. You shouldn't, but it's essentially a spray transfer where you go for 1 kill, then you stop, remark into the other kill there. It's the closest thing to a spray transfer you can get to.
I genuinely didn't think you were going to double down on that, but fair enough. The frenzy does exist, though.
Sure, but he didn't have a frenzy.
Yeah, so he couldn't have sprayed, could he?
I suppose. I mean, you should see my rank games. Everyone's playing.
Oh, that's true, actually. What do you mean? I
That's
thought your
what I'm
ranked
saying.
games were VCT Americas.
What?
You telling me that the casters aren't pros?
Well, you
Oh,
know.
have I been lied to this whole time?
You know, you have your coaching experience. I have my watching VODs till my eyes bleed experience.
You know what? I feel that, man. That's so real. That's,
Well, I have to wear glasses all the time now. My eyes have decayed by 80 years.
You close your eyes and you
Stare
see
at my
Haven. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I close my eyes, I see all the squiggles of the rifts of Ascent, non-stop.
You wake up in a cold sweat from a nightmare where you've
planted.
just been double flashed from a sky. Yeah.
No, I wake up in a cold sweat thinking about having to play Bind in Premiere.
Ugh.
Yeah, you see how I feel?
Shudder.
Sometimes, if it's an ultra bad night, I'm thinking about Breeze coming back from the ranked.
Oh, I like Breeze.
No, it wouldn't be a fun day.
Icebox is
Enemy
better.
remaining.
Yeah, of course, I love Icebox.
Yeah.
The
that
Breeze
was
is a
travesty
terrible map.
Icebox to say. What do you mean? No, you were terrible at
What?
Breeze. Not Breeze was a terrible map.
Breeze was my best map in ranked. That doesn't mean I had a fun experience playing it. It's like saying I have fun brushing my teeth with a nail file. I hate playing that map.
What? Breeze right now is Breeze was an incredible map because once you understood how to play it, it became very easy. I can't have you slander my child like this.
You can say that about any map in the game. Breeze is just like, it
Yes,
felt like it
but-
was the same thing over and over again. And like, yeah, you could argue Icebox was the same way, but at least in terms of like casting it, Icebox was more entertaining because there was a lot more like nuance in mid-rounding instead of just, okay, we're gonna go A. All right, we're gonna go B.
I tell you what, I'm looking at the chat and everyone hated Breeze. You know what? Fair enough. Apart from one guy called Alex who also enjoyed Breach. Breeze. Maybe Breach on Breeze.
I mean, Breach on Breeze wasn't that bad.
I did enjoy that. 10-4. Okay.
Yeah,
It's not looking
everything's
good for our
going to a
defenders.
standstill. Yeah, let's see what the next response will be here. Minimoth, full garage control at their own disposal. Kunichi and company hiding behind the scenes, swings out dry in the 1v3, was able to dash away though. Dekas is taking a much more safer position though. This will be good for them, just to see if anyone wants to encroach slowly but surely up to the funnel of C Long. There's only 2 left alive though. Only 1 survivor from the skirmish inside of that funnel. The only one to escape the meat grinder. You have your bare skeleton crew of what you need to get that spike in the ground, but with only 45 seconds left, it's going to be easier said than done. Trailblazers out. Possibly, should be in theory, spotting out Minimoth, especially with the Bulldog spray. And I would say that's a
Just gonna play
spray.
there.
Going up.
30 seconds left.
I'll tell you what, he
player
runs into the
standing.
slaughter. Kobos is worried about someone being in spawn, so with 20 seconds left, it looks like it may just be a save here. We're going to see our defenders put 5 on the boards, and I tell you what, they did a very good job of playing off of each other there. We saw fairly consistently, first player would take contact, second one would peek,
10
and
seconds
they would
left.
just bounce off each other, especially on that C site.
consume it.
A really, really nice way of playing that C site, especially when they are trapped in that C-long position. They tried to do the same in Garage, it was just a 1-for-1, but because they're trading, the guys on C-long, once they go a kill up, it just makes the round very easy to convert.
I call
So
you
really
Charlie
cool
because it
stuff
means you're my
from our
friend.
defenders there.
But maybe I should call
And
you
as we look to our
Christian
attackers,
because you're
I can't help but wonder how consistently Olim and Minimoth are going to be able to get 1, 2, maybe even sometimes 3 entries, and then take a site, and then hold the after plan. Because eventually they're going to get killed quickly. And it's
Sure.
rounds like those where they lose the teeth of their executions.
I mean, sure, but I mean, I'm also looking at Minimoth, and he's 21-8 right now. I wouldn't fix what's broken so far. So I'm curious to see how the opening of this round goes underway. You do have each Sentinel locking down the respective left and right sides of the map. But again, when we look at the onus of someone like Olim, we're worried about them not having that kind of veracity at the beginning of each round. They're still good for those first bloods. Kunichi brought down immediately. That was supposed to be the spearhead that came from the defense early on.
Oh, I like the try and deny of the alarm bot there. It is, however, in Garage, which Minimoth is going to discover with his ult. However, able to get chance, or chase even, means that they are going to go a man up, and it's all one big elaborate fake. It's a ruse. They've bamboozled them.
Oh
Could be an
no!
A execution here, Keg. And now
Yeah,
for our
with
defenders, a man down in a retake. This is not a pretty spot to be in at all.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you have to either hold court.
Spike
Well,
planted.
I guess no for the defense. You have to just push in as a team. If you're on the attack right now, you can just scale up if you really want to, but just holding this double cross contact from Hell and Graffiti enables so many different options. Brodsky does have that Trailblazer though. This should help reveal quite a bit of information, but hopefully eventually got there. Spots out at least 2 down below inside of Hell. You have the immediate return of Guiding Lights,
One
jumping
enemy
down, the flash seemingly not affecting Crazed. All that's up now is just Deca hiding inside all these nebulas, and even that's not enough. 11-5 now. Only 2 more rounds needed to bring things to map number 2. And I gotta say again, we're looking at Olam, we're looking at Minimoth. They've been the ones to really open up these rounds. I was expecting a lot more to be seen coming out from Lin and Chase, who are, again, they should be the ones stalling out these duelists, making sure they can't claim back that space.
Chase was able to get a kill in the last couple of rounds as well. So the duel, which has really been in, like, let's be honest, I'm fascinated by this. The Crazed versus Chase duel for me is at the moment going in favor of Crazed. However, there are still potentially 2 maps left of this, so
Very
there is
true.
still a chance. There is still a chance for Chase. Will he be bailed out? Some could say. Well, have to find out.
We'll have to wait and see. Next, banana time. Same banana channel, I suppose. Olam, here's the Killjoy turret, though. Nades to clear up backside. The stun's right on top. Double blast pack in. So much utility. Effectively, nobody can hold the back of C side at all. Deca's in the one safe spot of the entirety of C. And even then, with just a sheriff in hand, a great way to cross back over. Krabos is there, shutting down everyone on C and anyone that dares approach
Player
inside.
standing.
Chase falls, and all that's left is Brodsky. A thrifty round here. The save round in order to make sure they have a full buy-in for what very well could be their last round of the first map here of Haven. 12-5 though.
Match point.
12-5. Do you believe in the comeback, Keg? Do you think it can happen?
Honestly, I think if we see a huge change of strategy right now from the defense, as in like even on a full buy, they just death ball and try to play disruptive, I think we could see a big round win here.
Yeah. Hopefully. Well, let us know in the chat. I realize a lot of you have been freed, so that chat's about to go a lot faster. Is there going to be a comeback? Is it going to be a victory?
I'm gonna be honest
Are
with
we
you,
going
I'm
to see
still looking for
overtime?
the chat. Oh, I found stream chat. It's at the very top.
Still looking for it.
I was looking for it the whole time.
Oh, brother.
I am not a Discordologist. I'm a cowardologist.
Oh, brother.
I like-
It's going to be
I
a
like
lot of
this
aggression here, I know.
So close.
I
love
like
it.
this
My ult is
though.
ready.
It's not aggressive like I was hoping to see just for a final round. Just to make things funny, to meme it up a little bit more. But this is a big shutdown factor. Lin has been activated by this op. And Just Tired now trying to be on that lurch for the Killjoy, strafing around, killing their mirror mode match. So much distance has been gained, but now in a 2v2 once more, the pendulum swing goes back into the favor of Team X. We'll have to wait and see now what the next response can be, but it looks like one spot now with Deca almost getting away. That was a near miracle to turn around in time. But Just Tired was there, not overspraying. The tap fire is helping out. A cosmic divide here to help bring things possibly to this final round to confirm it all. Lin has that operator. And I talked about the golden
Spike
handcuffs that
planted.
sometimes you have, but he actually drops down the op and brings up the Vandal. He's not going to be as afraid to retake the site. Who knows what kind of information he has, though, especially with this Cosmic Divide out. You're not able to hear on the other side, and this reposition from the last 2 remaining for the attack is so strong. It could be a double swing here. Dropping down any sort of info, and there it is. Kobo's hidden away just in
Attackers
case Just Tired wasn't there. But the Killjoy had it all along for the 3K to bring things 13-5.
That was very damn effective, actually, to be able to go from that 1 versus, or that 2 versus 2, to get into a position where they're stacked up, to instantly go into a setup where they can peek off one another. It shows a lot of teamwork, and you tell that this is a team that's been scripting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we got to give a mini MVP to Olam and Minimoth, right? It's not often that, you know,
Yeah.
we don't really get to see like a Phoenix in big VCT matches too often. The times we do, pretty effective, but more often than not, it's a really big risky maneuver. And the fact that we're able to see Minimoth perform 23-10 here on Haven was really strong to show how effective that utility usage and the response of the rest of his team following up with the utility could be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I believe a banana's about to ambush us in a second.
Hey!
Who's this guy? Who invited him?
Thank you for the game one cast. It was excellent. I'm going to take it for a bit and go over some very fancy analysis of some very high level stuff going on in that game. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. One moment, chat. All right, chat. It's me, the professional grade Valorant analyst. And I'm here to break down for you exactly why this game went towards team. Wait, I also get them confused. We have to update our overlay. Oh my God. I'm reading my slide deck real quick. Team X. Yeah. We're going to pay out the prediction real quick before I break that down for you. Team X takes the win. And we will start the prediction for game 2. Make sure you get your bet in. And now we're going to go into analysis. Here, I've got a perfect example of exactly why Team Six Eyes lost that game. So here we see Deka worked his way up into close right, out C long. The Killjoy, not familiar with the squirrel molly, has missed the molly, and our Omen has found himself in a quite advantageous position.
Back of C side at all. Deck is in the one safe spot.
Here we see the boom bot doesn't clear us. And now the kills come right to us.
The entirety of the
Look, chat, ultimately, if you want to win in Valorant, you got to click their head. Which is why you should try the Voltaic X Woohoojin Aim Labs playlist. Make sure you're playing it at least 5 days a week. Every week. Go download Aim Labs now on Steam and search for the Voltaic X Woohoojin Aim Labs playlist. It only takes 30 minutes with rest included. Go, get it now. Get it now. Aim diff. Aim diff. I'll see you in game 2. Yo! How's everybody enjoying the broadcast? I'm coming at you from the Banana Federation, high up in the crowd. If you look up, you might see me. I'm the talking banana in the booth that's glowing yellow. You see me? Hi. I'm checking right now with my sources, but I have an inside man trying to figure out what the second map is before we're supposed to know. And rumor has it, map 2 is split. Will Team Six Eyes be able to bring it back? Because we saw quite the dominant performance from Team X. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my goodness. Also on split, Team X straight up, they have a raise main chat. That's a problem. Team Six Eyes has to overcome incredible hurdles to bring it back. Truly a Cinderella story. I'm rooting for them. I don't know about you. Can everyone in chat spam these thighs to help Six Eyes? Spam. Yes, spam these thighs to help Six Eyes. Spam it. We want game 3. I already paid the casters. I already paid them. Spam it. More Underpeel. 10 years. Infinite Underpeel. Quintuple overtime. Six Eyes. These Six Eyes. Six Eyes, your Six Eyes. Eyes online. They appear to be loading in, preparing to go into map 2. I see the 1-minute warning coming into chat. I would like to point out that Kunichi was on top, chat. They might be able to duelist diff this. They just need to coordinate. Team Six Eyes. Team X. 2 Titans. Coming live soon your way. We'll see you in about 1 minute. We're loading into split. I'm gonna get ready to hand it over to the casters. They're hovering agents now. Will we see Rays come out from Team Six Eyes? Only time will tell. Keg, Kremer 3, it's off to you. Enjoy the game.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Hello.
So we were talking in the green room, and Kremer brought up a really interesting point. But here's the thing. I don't know what point that is yet. And this point's going to lead into a story. A Paper Rex story. So I'm curious, Krem, what do you have to tell us about Paper Rex?
So the people have asked for a Paper X story, and a Paper X story I shall provide. Which is, I'm going to set the scene a bit here, okay?
Please.
So this is the off-season of last year, okay? So there was an event in India called the Galaxy Racer, it was a Galaxy Racer something. I think it was just called the Valorant Invitational. And so there's some fairly big teams there. There's Heretics, Bleed, Secret, Paper Rex, and some very good teams. And so one of the big rivalries was Boom Esports versus Paper Rex. And that came through a lot of the coaches, Alex and Meow, both of which were very, very fairly close outside of the game. And so they ended up sort of wanting to compete with each other at this tournament. And so going into the group stage, they were in the same group. And we knew they were playing against each other first thing tomorrow. And we're all staying at the same hotel. And so in the lobby of the hotel, everyone was sort of chilling. That's where the pool was. And so everyone went to relax. And so Alex, he every now and then he would I can't remember what exactly he has, but he can dislocate things. That's sort of well-known fact.
Oh no!
And so he dislocated his shoulder in the lobby, and he made eye contact with Meow across the lobby, across the yard, into the garden where Meow was. Literally maintained eye contact, relocated his shoulder, and didn't break eye contact for that entire period. It was at that exact moment everyone knew Paper Rex has won that series. How do you beat that?
What?
How did you beat that?
Okay, this is wild. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 3?
Which one was that?
That's the one where Snake was in the jungle.
Is that one where he gets thrown into a microwave? As like a plot point.
No, that's the fourth one.
Okay, in that case, no, I haven't. Wait, that's Snake Eater, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's a character that can do that too. And he's like in the trees hopping around. He can just like dislocate every part of his body. So now I'm imagining like that. Where it's like he just looks at you, dislocates both shoulders, both legs, his neck, his spine, dislocates everything.
Intimidation tactics.
You'll never beat Paper Rex. You can't beat us.
Is that your Solid Snake impression?
Colonel, this is Snake. We're pushing up inside of B heaven. Oh, Colonel, Olam's there. She's dummy thick and has Kunichi on the other side. Oh, Colonel!
Snake! 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 It's Mini-Muff! Dun 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 dun! Oh my god, what happened to the attacking team? They're gone! And all that's left now is the Cypher! It's Chase, not the bank. But he may need to make a deposit. It's up to 1 though for the headshots. I would consider that a spray. Thank you very much, Kremer.
I would consider that so supreme, as that was. How do I cast after that, man? You gave that round 1. You didn't say that up at all.
Oh my bad. I mean the caster's curse of using everything in round 1. I have no fuel left in the tank.
Okay. Wow. I knew you could do voices. I didn't know you could do them that well.
Well, we just talked about how everyone can do impressions. Solid Snake is like, you know, someone saying, oh, I can do Kermit the Frog. Like, do something original. Anyone can do Solid Snake. You just have to sound like a gravelly, old,
everyone
depressed
could
man.
attempt Solid Snake. I don't think they could do it.
I guess so. I'm no David Hayter. You want to hear a fun fact, though? Did you know the guy that voices Solid Snake wrote the X-Men movies?
Did he?
Yeah, that's his full-time job.
That is one awesome human.
I know, I'm jealous.
Yeah,
everyone could do Peter Griffin. True. So, fun fact, right? And I don't know how much about like American like geography you know. So Peter Griffin.
I know my geography.
Oh, nice. Well, you know probably more about geography than I do. I don't know anything about maps. Math is hard for me too. I'm not a geometrologist either. But Peter Griffin's from Rhode Island, and so canonically, I was born in the hometown next to Quahog.
Damn, that's like what, 20 minutes away?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the whole state of Rhode Island's like 45 minutes long.
It's just start to finish.
Cartography? I don't know anything about restaurant menus.
Oh man, I know you are feeding into this right now.
I'm feeding a lot.
We're feeding into it. We see a bit of aggression from our attackers, and it has unfortunately backfired. So now this push comes over to B with this spike. You are against the Phoenix, who again with that self-sustain should be able to swing and clean it up, assuming he doesn't whiff. No worries, no problem. It was a few warning shots, but you know what? Just abiding by the laws. As Decker now, a classic in 10 seconds, not much going his way right now.
It's such a small thing, but I really liked how in that process the flash came out similar to this, and you went for the wide swing first option kill, the first one you saw, then went for the closer person towards pillar, and that was the Cypher. So really good way of kind of dividing and conquering that small 1v2 there. That was really impressive to me from Minimoth, and I'm sure Woohoojan's going to talk about that too, but it's one of those small little micro plays where one piece of utility can just literally change the entire leverage of a round in, what, half a second?
There was someone's mentioned in the chat Dunkin' Donuts, and I live in quite a rural part of the UK.
It's actually called Dunkin' now. Thank you very much. I would see monster trucks all the time at the Dunkin' Donuts arena.
I live in a very rural part of the UK, and so a Dunkin' only opened nearby about 6 months ago. And it's already gone out of business because all the sort of farmers in my area, they've seen it, not recognized the name, and have just like not gone to it because it's different, and difference is scary.
Is there like a UK equivalent to Dunkin' Donuts? Like in Canada, you have like Tim Hortons, which is garbage. You have Dunkin' Donuts, which is garbage.
We don't have a big brand. There are a few Krispy Kremes about, but a lot of the time we just have our own bakeries, and so it's all sort of homemade stuff, which is pretty good. I won't lie.
You're not completely owned by giant conglomerates like us Americans.
Yeah, I think the more I talk in this cast, the more people are going to associate me looking more like the apple than the pineapple.
You know, we were talking about this in the pre-show, and we're about to see a gigantic execute here. Just Hired is the only one there, but leads into a perfect time to talk about the Apple tier list. When we were doing VCT Challengers, speaking of which, that was an absolute S-tier Pink Lady flick coming out from Kunichi. But again, that was unbelievable. Olam continues on forwards, knocking the apples out of the tree. Isaac Newton rolling in his grave to the hands of these defenders. One by one, divide and conquer. Just Hired and company. It's the defense now rolling it back. Such a dominant round coming out from the attackers. The mobility still there, and the Cypher for the counterflank could be the last remaining crew left alive this round. And with only milliseconds left, the spike finally goes down. A 2v3 right now, and Phoenix does have his ultimate. Might not want to use it just yet, but may have to. Chase is the last one alive. The Cypher looking to triangulate where those tracers are coming from the cyber cage, but unable to do so. Kobos, good for 3. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. But the Apple tier list takes the most importance right now.
I completely understand that. Go far away.
Okay, real quick. So when we were doing VCT Challengers, there was a delay in one of the last shows where FaZe had there was a lot of really bad air quality in New York, and so FaZe got delayed. It was me, Emily, Strong Legs, and Psycho who previously just coached Sentinels, and we were having a gigantic tier list about what the best apples were. And they said it was Pink Lady. Like, Honeycrisp is better, Macintosh is S tier, Galas are good.
Galas are good. Woho's come out with some blasphemy and has claimed it's Granny Smiths, which is the most basic bitch answer he could possibly give. Like,
Granny Smiths are barely an apple. They're sour apples.
They're more granny than they are apple. Like,
ooh. Now, would you eat a granny?
Would I eat a granny? No.
Oh, I would.
It's like asking for your steak. It's like asking for well done steak. What's the point?
Ew. At least you can do something with a Granny Smith apple. You can't do anything with a well done steak.
That's true.
All right. Back to the game, I suppose.
Oh! Suppose we should cast and Craig
Fire in the hole.
That is seppuku right there.
That was incredible, though. And now you've given up, well, not that you've willingly given up, but now you've lost a lot of that control inside events. It's going to put Just Hired in that position again with a lot of pressure, whether they know it or not. Minimoth is there to help out, but this guiding light doesn't find anything. Response comes out, though. Nebula comes up, but no utility to really follow up. It's leaving Olam to beat this counter flank right now, and I wonder if the Chamber will be aware of it before it's too late.
It was a great job at isolating the player in heaven as well. If they can isolate the A main raise and or get that kill, it's going to absolutely just nip this retake in the bud. It is hinging on how effective Olam can be right now.
Spike down, B.
I'm so glad you used that phrase correctly. I saw something trending on Reddit recently that's like, nipped in the butt, snipped in the butt, but you said it perfectly.
I have this fight.
Yeah,
it's like,
because I can speak English, okay?
Well, I'm American, I can't. I speak hamburger.
You only speak of freedom.
Oh man, that's a can of worms. Which are also, I guess, delicious as an American.
I tell you what, unfortunately for the Rays, actually caught out after time as well means that their economy is going to hurt a little bit. Bearing in mind that they had quite a bit in the bank, it is still going to be a buy here, but there is not much money left for Chase and Co. That hedge fund seems to have dried up. Getting 2007 flashbacks here, because looking at the ult management as well, you have that showstopper from the Rays, so a fast pop to A is a very appealing strat right now. I think we're actually going to see just that.
Oh, beautiful work there from Kenichi. Double blast attack, removing Just Tired from the board. And I gotta say, that's a big loss for the defense. Just has been able to maintain this big, almost like stronghold potential on A side every single round thus far. Him being the first one gone already shows the dividends being lost for the defense. These duelists now working together, leaving Astra alone, have to be able to take at least 2 of these fights if they want to win back this round. But they're already at a body disadvantage. Down the gigantic dry swinged funnel. Olim's good for 1 though, off the trade of Minimouth falling. Cosmic Divide may have to come out here, but it's going to be so hard to find that benefit from the angle of which these attackers are staying.
Oh, it's a great little concussion there into the nade as well, and they kickstart the retake. Unfortunately, the Angels are being lost, and that'll be the first round for our attackers. And I tell you what, Keg, when you take a site, especially on splits, you can't have just the site. You need the site and something. And in the case of A, it's either A site and CT, A site and screens, A site and heaven control, A site and ramp control. And then you end up just forming a linchpin out of the players on site, and you allow the crossfire to be held by the ones off the site. Unfortunately, we saw all of those members be stuck on that A site. Yes, they won the Angels, but they were in a position that could have got pummeled by utility if the defenders had slowed it down before going to the retake, much like they did on Haven.
Yeah, it was a really risky procedure there, because also on top of that, there wasn't really anything in terms of ultimates or utility that the remains of the defense could really use to leverage back those fights. It was all dry swings everywhere. But speaking of which though, that Cosmic Divide still exists here. I wouldn't be surprised, given how fast of the takes sometimes this attacking team likes to go for, if we see that Cosmic Divide come out maybe with 45 seconds left in the round. It would be a great mid-round option to stall out these attackers.
It absolutely would be, and I tell you what, I'm surprised actually at how methodical this mid-take is. And in terms of just general strategy we're seeing from these teams, this is really quite high tier. And it's sort of just dawned on me, how much of this is the Woho playbook? And if that's the case, at what point does it become fairly easy to anti-strat? Or is part of this the anti-stratting, and they've anti-stratted each other and just come up with completely new playbooks? How deep does this go, Keg? We're going to bring out the red string and put some pictures on a wall in a second.
Who's Pepe Silva? We'll have to like get our bloodshot eyes and just like,
30
4 or
seconds
5
left.
days.
What does it mean, Keg? What does it mean?
Numbers, Mason! What do they mean? But all that's left now is just Cypher. And going for the playbook that you mentioned, Chase was so close to making miracles happen. You talked about getting sight and then getting something else on top of it. Chase was nearly there. An iota of reverting the round to another victory for the attackers. Had we just not seen Craze turn around at the perfect time. So close to having an almost miracle play. And now look at the buys once more. In America, we call this the ping pong economy, where you go from a thrifty round to a full buy, back down to a thrifty if you lose the full buy. The best weapon now these attackers have is the Guardian.
You want to play?
Yeah, we refer to it as an endless death cycle, so you guys have a better term for it. But what's interesting is the silver lining for the attackers right now is they have with the chamber ults, with the option for the fast relocate on the Omen, you are able to mitigate the effectiveness of those enemy rifles. So you are able to level the playing field a little bit, but that's dependent on as to how effective the chamber can now be on this position, sort of marauding up ramp solo, might I add.
I just want to say that Endless Death Cycle Technique sounds like a badass band name.
You know, that does get kind of hard.
Right?
Yeah, okay, do you want to leave casting and make a band with me?
Oh, I'm so down. What, do you play any
I
instruments?
can play the maracas.
Ooh, okay. I can't sing or play a piano, but I can pretend I can.
Perfect. I mean, there's nothing auto-tune can't unfuck, right?
That's true. I'll sound like the Black Eyed Peas. I'll sound like every 2010 pop band. Also, that was a really good shot coming out from the chair. Good lord. And Just Tired is now playing so much farther back than we had seen before. It's a 3v4 once again, but if there's anything we learned from these defenders, is that doesn't necessarily mean, well, it's already been converted to a 3v3, but it doesn't necessarily mean that body advantage is going to be, or disadvantage is going to be the end of the round for them. Minimoth is inside screens right now. They have almost full utility to work off of here. A pop flash going the elbow could stifle so much, especially with that guiding light like giving away the ones very close by. Olem should be given the call though, the mini moth. Olem's also good for one more. And look at that. Did they not clear the corner? What the hell happened? That goes good for the trade at the very least. Paranoia goes through. Good to divide and conquer and maybe find one, but the defuse underway. It's up now to this actually to be a distraction. But Kobos in the process is there to just take the kill anyways.
That is worrying. That is worrying now, especially in a retake there. They had everything going for them. They'd been able to take out the chamber, who was going to be that heavy hitter from heaven. They were able to go into that after plant in a, let's be honest, a fairly strong position, because they already have that player off site. They've got 2 on site who can play for the crossfire, but they just don't clear the angle. They don't clear the corners.
That was so
heartbreaking way to. That's a tilting way to lose a round, and so now we're going to really test the mental fortitude of our attackers now.
It's kind of strange to me that Screens wasn't cleared out either, because Minimoth wasn't like tucked into that corner by where the station names are. He was like practically out in the open.
Yeah.
But you know what? It happens. One thing we have to consider too is that a lot of these players, regardless of the rank, are still fairly newer to like competitive and being watched by this many people. So things like that, like nerves, are still going to come underway. Even like an Ascension, right? If that's your first time ever playing at a LAN, you're still going to be just as nervous, even if you're like statistically the best player in the league. Like, that's one of those external factors that you and I can't necessarily quantify, but it can definitely affect your performance.
Yeah, nerves is always the thing, right? And especially for players who have never been in that sort of environment before. And it's very hard to describe the difference between scrims and actual tournament play until you've done it yourself. And I mean,
you have a lot more experience with that than I do.
Yeah, I don't think we're actually seeing too much of nerves affect these teams. They're doing very well at keeping their composure. But I think when nerves start to show, what you see is you start seeing teams make bad calls rather than bad aiming. And the strategy's been fairly sound thus far.
See, I'm thinking more of like the perspective of like, in terms of aim, like tunnel visioning. Like, because we saw the guiding light come through.
10 seconds left.
It didn't make any sounds from what I remember, but it was more like, oh, well, okay, then clearly no one must be screens. I don't have to check it. And so it's just kind of like, you're fast-tracking a lot of thought processes that way. But so far, it's been working out very well for these defenders. It's been a very defender-sided matchup, which, by the way, I think whichever team is going to be on the defense here is going to find a little bit more benefit because, again, we think about the aspect of coordination on what is generally otherwise considered more of like attacker-sided map at times, but also the fact, too, that, Premier has split right now. And this is literally the best time to play this map because you're really thinking about, like, high-level strategies within the scope of your own team and employing them against random ranked plus teams,
Yeah, and I think the ranked plus is a really good term, and I think this is the difference between ranked plus and actual teams.
Yes.
And so I quite like that from the Astra as well. Killing the Omen ult means that you are faking your presence on that site, means that it takes a little bit longer to actually get onto B. But a 5v5 retake with a Phoenix ult, with a Killjoy ult, this really isn't too bad a position now for our defenders.
No, I mean, to be fair, though, it's 7-1. They've never really been in a bad position in this matchup, at least yet. But Olem does fall. I'm wondering if that's going to enable the Phoenix ult to come underway. It'll give a lot of information, especially with the Seekers now out, and could help displace some of these enemies. But instead of seeing Run It Back come out, we actually had the lockdown instead. Lynn's going to try to contest this along with the Cypher here. This 2v1 is going to turn into a 2v2, but it turns into a meat grinder. The swings just a little too far away to help and supplement those extra trades. Now we get to see the Phoenix ult come underway. The flaming wall comes by and no one's really able to get a virus from the other side there. And the fuse comes out, sneak through from the Nebula, where was otherwise a really good anti-retake from the attacking team, shut down by a litany of ults.
A beautiful round there, and it's one that Woho is going to absolutely have a field day with when he goes into the analyst segment, because there was a lot that happened there, and I'll save a bit of it for him. But what I really liked was the fact that they waited before using the lockdown. That round was almost sort of screwed over for them, because they ended up peeking heaven when they didn't need to, because the call was to fall back and run with that lockdown retake. So that was almost a big disconnect between the call and who peaks. However, they still convert it. Great use of utility, and now the change of pace.
I mean, the glass is half full too, right? You could argue too that you've made your defending team waste a bunch of very powerful ultimates in a single round that they won't be able to regain for the rest of the half. And with already this round being so dominant from the attacking team, who's to say this can't be an 8-4 half just off the fact that those ults have been expelled and not brought back, especially that lockdown.
Just tired. He's who's to say that.
Wait, I blinked. Where did they all go?
That was your first mistake, Keg. Blinking.
I gotta stop
series
blinking!
this.
I literally was looking at the chat for 1 second. I looked back, it went from a 5v3 to a 3v1.
Stop distracting my co-caster.
You'll have to break
My
that one down
God.
for me, man.
It literally just came down to trades. There was a great two entries there from Lin and Konichi, but once they actually got onto site, they allowed Just Tired to get through to Elbow. He was able to cancel the plant, able to catch the player before the Cypher trip cage came up, and so he just took those 1v1s and was able to win them on players who weren't looking at him. A solid round, solid retake before the spike even went down there from our defenders. And as the night draws to its end, at least on this first half, I've got to ask you, Kerg, is there any way you could potentially cast the Cursors into getting a third map here?
Well, you know, the defending team has been good. In fact, I think they're the greatest team of all time. I expect them to actually go win this game 14-1, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. No chance for our attackers right now. No chance one bit. There's no way this Chamber or Razor going to drop 30 kills.
No, sir. Honestly, I think this defending team could be Fnatic.
Yeah,
In fact, they're doing so great right now. They're the 4v4. Surely no one else is going to die this round.
My worry is if Woho also cursed them, do they cancel each other out?
Oh. Well, there's 3 of us, though, so it's like a double negative +1, so no matter
right.
what, it's
So
negative, right?
That's okay. Our voodoo magic will bring equilibrium to this series. Don't you worry, boys.
We don't, never, do not think they'll win.
Right.
30 seconds left. Spike down A.
Two versus two.
player
Low
standing.
HP on the Raze. And they line up, unfortunately. It's going from bad to
Last
worse,
round
Keg. I
before
won't
the
lie.
switch.
Regardless of how hard we try and curse this, it is looking bad for our attackers. And here's the thing. It's not looking bad for the attackers. It's the defenders playing really damn well.
They are playing really well, and I mean, I think a lot of what the analysis from Woho was in the first map was a bit of an aim div. I'm gonna throw out the argument again that we see these team comps, at least for the attacking side right now, being more catered for the defense. You know, in map number 1 we had the Killjoy and we had the Chamber. This map we have Cypher Chamber. Again, there's a lot of stalling potential coming out here that isn't necessarily enabled for the attacking side. Pretty much the onus comes down to the Sky and the Rays to find these opening picks.
I know exactly
Otherwise, if they go down early, these rounds are almost impossible to win off of getting a spike plant.
Spike planted.
That it is. Now, a man down and a retake. This is as good a position as it gets now for our attackers, especially with Konici's flank. Just perfect. Good for 2. There is a trade from Olam, however, they are going to have to run into some trips here if they want to try and retake this site, at least from CT. So from Heaven, the utility is going to start landing now. This could be as good as done unless something goes catastrophically wrong.
Oh, but you know what? We're only doing 1/2 of the curse. Oh man, Konichi did terribly there. Oh no.
God, if he
Imagine
doesn't
getting
step
a
up
kill.
soon.
Oh, the humanity. Worst player I've ever seen. See, we gotta do it from both ends.
I see.
got enough time to go
There
and
are a
touch
lot of
my
babies
skeleton.
being sacrificed in the chat as well to try and make this curse come through.
Yummy, yummy.
What? Keg?
Hey man, when in Rome.
Yeah. When in Rome.
What do you think is in Dunkin' Donuts?
That makes so. I wondered why they tasted so good. I knew it wasn't jam. God.
Drinking water, damn it. No shot. I actually found out the other day you could choke on water.
Really?
Well, I mean, like, you can choke on it briefly, but it's not like... I
Explain
don't
to me
think you can
drowning.
die from it.
Like-
Well, you can, like, dry drown, but, like, you know, a cup of water, you know, like, you can asphyxiate, I guess, but, like, I wouldn't consider that, like, you know, choking.
What's choking?
Like getting a potato stuck in your throat, or, like, an apple or something, you know?
if you're
Like an
eating
actual
either a whole
blockage.
apple or a whole potato, I believe we call that Darwinism.
Okay. We have to think about what kind of potato we're talking about here. Like a red potato, you could definitely eat in one bite.
Please don't prove this to me.
Satchel out.
I need a co-caster for the rest of this.
Aw, dang it. Well, there goes my plans for later tonight. 4v3, though, for the remains of this half. 10-2. I'm sorry, we swapped the halves. Excuse me. Brodsky, though, having the guiding light, goes for the flash and does find quite a bit of information stalling potential
enemy
there.
remaining.
Dividing out the 1x1s.
Spike
Good to
down
remove
A.
all of having control. And leaves it to Kobos now. The
30
last
seconds
alive.
left.
And we talked about the double sentinel utility that could be coming out here, and we did get to see a lot more of that utility come underway. The guiding light didn't find a whole lot of impact that last round, but Kobos is distracted with Heaven. Unaware, somewhat of Kunichi is able to turn around, redirect themselves to get the third round on the board. And honestly, Kremer, really important round considering it was 10-2. If this went 11-2, this would already be over.
It was paramount they win that, but it does beg the question, Keg. Is this the start of something?
No, it's not.
You're right. Not beyond our wildest dreams could this happen.
And in fact,
like
I think that was a
defenders are trying to ape off the end.
terrible round.
Oh man, for our defenders, we have to try and find a way to withstand another fast play here.
Yeah, fast aggression underway. And look at seeing where that Sentinel utility is set up, and for the most part, Heaven is empty. It's naked. It's relying on the onus right here of Brodsky holding the ropes control, and
Spike
this works
down
out
A.
fantastically. The floating potential
One
inside
enemy
events
remaining.
enables the rest of these defenders to rotate so quickly to shut down Ramp's control. It was identified as these attackers for being that one spot to be very, very vulnerable. No trademarks, no tripwires, and what seemed like no bodies either. But I think you're right. This may be a tech pause.
Day by day, we get closer to VCT. Looks
No
like he
shot.
has come back. I think
Let
we're
me-
okay.
Let me tell you about the worst tech pause I've ever had in a Valorant tournament. This wasn't a VCT tournament. This was for a charity event in Vegas. And this
Yeah.
was in January of this year. So we were at a LAN, we were in the control center, and we get told that the Valorant servers go down.
Right.
But not only that, the Valorant servers, the Riot servers, the Twitch servers, and Google all go down at once. That might as well have been the start of World War III. And we're just like,
That's because of you, Keg. That was your fault. They realized you were
My bad.
casting and just didn't want you on. And so they did everything in their power to make sure it didn't happen.
wow, I didn't realize they were all my dad. How'd they know I was in the mainframe?
I mean, no, you can never be a determined father.
True. I feel so bad for my future kids. I'm gonna sit them down, raise them like a mini Shroud. They'll be like 2 years old, barely being able to hold their head up. All right, what do you mean you can't trade out that Omen? Come on, child! Plant the spike! Press 4! Dad, I don't know what 4 is! Press 4 to plant the spike!
You're gonna drop 30 kills in this scrim, or you're not getting Chopper. Oh man.
Please stop making me eat the Tacta Bear.
Oh, Decker needs to be careful here. He could be caught off.
True. Yeah, Deck is in a precarious spot right now. He's partially surrounded.
Shadows traveling.
But he does have that extra help with the trademark, though, just in case for the surprise factor. He's baiting out the rope control, actually. It's really interesting. It's adding that extra pressure over for the attacking team, almost to try to maybe, like, tunnel vision them over in defense and trip up the trademark into ropes and
30
just stall
seconds
for
left.
time. There's only 30
There's only
seconds
30
left in the
seconds.
round. Yeah, there's no map control at all for Ace. Like, this has to be a B-side take.
It looks like the Sky may have a timing here. They're good for one. There's the trades. It's back and forth for the time being. And I tell you what, I think they
10
may have bought enough
seconds
time.
left.
I think our defenders may have done it. That's quite going to be tapped, but they are very alone right now.
One enemy remaining.
Flash from the Phoenix isn't enough. That'll be 5 rounds. And I worry that because we've had a disconnect and reconnect, that may have bugged our observer cam.
Oh, you're right. It may have a little bit. Do you remember back
Decker,
in the
no
old
pressure,
days?
but we are definitely watching you with a close eye.
Do you remember back in the old days, like beta of Valorant, when like you would swap sides and all the controls would break completely? It would be like player number 8 would be like number 3, player number 4 would be like 7 or 9. It was just completely random.
Those were the days, Keg. And someone's mentioned something in the chat, and I was laughing at that, which is instead of baby formula, they'd be having G Fuel.
True. They'd be like the new generation of like Call of Duty 14-year-olds. Oh, what a really good attempt there. So the idea for Lin was to play ultra aggressive, play for the anti-flash, then go for one, get the rendezvous out, but the rendezvous just came out a second too late. Does allow, though, that spike to go under control.
Spike planted.
Was a lot of damage, though. Look at the Astra. He's going to be healed up by the Sky, so that's going to mitigate the damage, but look at what we said earlier. You need sight and something. And now every single player is going to have to shoehorn their way into elbow, a position which is going to get hit by a lot of utility in this retake, especially considering that the Raze is 1 kill away from being able to bring out another nade.
This is just a mess of a round right now. Good bait, though, from the running back. Able to tank pretty much the entirety of the Sky ult. I've never ever in my life have seen that before. But it may be short-lived as well. A lot of damage applied to these attackers. As long as Kobos can stay alive here, this should be a winning round. But even then, with one left alive, too little time to go for the defuse. No matter who you kill, it's Minimoth once more to be that sacred defender of the attacking side. A thrifty round, no less, too. 11-5.
11-5. The days get darker, the nights get longer, and the rounds left may get shorter because for the members of this attacking side, I worry, Keg. I worry it's maybe the start of the end, especially when you look at the economy of our defenders. If this op goes down, we may not see one for the rest of the game. 6 sides right now. They're up against it.
Yeah, where is Lin be playing? So the call here is to have a lot of disruptive plays inside of mid. Lin is waiting to go for the swing to see if anyone could be either lurking or the full push late into mid. Neither one of which will be true. In fact, the entirety of the attacking team is looking to take over A side control again. The Trailblazer goes to the top of A, at least in terms of ramps, does not hit the tripwire, however, so there is a bit of a reprieve for these defenders. And it allows enough time for everyone to rotate back around to A, except for Lin, who's still holding mid. And this might be a great call. We're seeing this recall back over to sewers and full spawn, possibly back over to B site. And now Lin needs to make impact with his operator.
Absolutely does. Great flash from the Phoenix. Amazing vigilance to not expect him to be there. The Raze nades on top of the Phoenix hot hands are going to do so much damage to him. He's now all on the Sky to at least buy time, but through the smoke, also being damaged. Don't kill yet, but the damage is really going to start to add up soon.
May try to run out here. Plenty of 1v1s to be had, however.
Look at the Astra on the other side of the map right now.
Yeah, this is the strong lurk, right? You can use Astra's utility anywhere on the map that you want. And this means it enables strong lurking, while at the same time, the majority of professional teams will use that role as the IGL to get the full scope of the battle. 12-5, though. And sure, there's no direct action seen by that Astra. Doesn't mean that she didn't have any impact that round. 12-5. What very well could be the final round here for this map. These defenders need to set themselves up and prevent the attackers from getting on site at all, because these retakes have been so devastatingly powerful for the attack.
This is now a bit of a worrying circumstance for our defenders. The judges have to come out, the sheriffs, there's a glass cannon phantom on chase. This is what up against it looks like. It's a bit of a garage buy. And well, they've got a B-slam to worry about. Unfortunately, it's the one undefended position outside of a bit of utility from the Chamber and the Cypher.
Early lockdown, though. Looking to flush out anyone on side of B. This is no Ratatouille, though. Everyone's controlling themselves. Oh, but look at this, though. A marionette doll of death is Kenichi to take down Craze. That's strong for the anti-entry, and Olim in return says, nah, dude. I'm explosively taking B site. Lin tries to find some sort of impact bottom of hell, but unable to do so. Joins the Devils down below. It's Minimoth hiding away, looking to play anti-default for that spike to go down, and Kunichi's looking to get that grenade. But again, it hits Stifo! No chance for the nade to connect against the spike holder. And at least second now, the last one alive, the wraith of the team to join everyone else, possibly the underworld. He can't get this 1v2, but he's almost able to do so. So close to get that 1v3. But at the end of the day, it's Kobolds again. The late defender there to take everyone down 13-5.
There's only one word I'd use to describe this series, and that is, of course, Schlobberknocker.
Awesome.
Great. Oh, and awesome.
That's a
great
good
series
word.
nonetheless. It is. It's a perfect word to describe a perfect series. Thank you, everyone, for coming
Not
into the
talking
cast.
chat yet.
Congratulations!
Why you made my spoiler?
Well, hey, a celebration from our production team as well for a non-broken and a non-tech paused and non-breaking grand final. Thank you, everyone, for
drop
watching.
your Twitters in stream chat. Go follow them. Keg, Kremer 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drop
I
them.
got
Drop them.
you.
I expect to
got
see
you.
exactly 758 increased followers on both of these Twitters,
Oh, imagine.
or I will personally be banning all of you individually.
So that's a lot of effort.
I mean, I just put in a ton of effort to have casters cast some silvers, duke it out for nothing. You
That's
think
true.
Yeah, I
you
know
think
that
I won't
guy.
go ban people one by one?
I know that
True.
dude.
Well, while we have you here, Woho, in your opinion, who's the MVP?
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to give it to Alum. I'm not gonna lie. I know that he's like their most vocal player, and he's frequently in the in-houses, and he's just quite the rock of a teammate. And I think it stands out when he's not even top fragging for his team, but he's also like he's bottom deathing, you know, and they're taking these clean victories. I think he's the most
I couldn't agree
he's
more.
like the low ego, high elo player in the lobby.
Well, what about you, Keg?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't really know. I would probably either give it to Minimoth or Olim there because I feel like definitely there was a lot of big control coming from the both of them. It could be split both ways. I guess we'll have to get more analysis to see.
We'll have to.
I've got
Whoa.
analysis ready. Thank you very much, both of you. I will be taken to the analyst desk shortly. Have a nice Sunday. And
Monday for me.
these are the same casters who will be featured in the season 2 Underpeel in October, chat. So if you would like them to cast your gameplay, prepare for the open applications to enter your team. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're
Keg,
stuck
number
with
3.
us.
Yup, you're stuck with them for 6 weeks.
No,
All right, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
thank
you very much.
And we'll see you around. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you. All right, one moment, chat. We'll go to analysis in a moment.
When darkness falls, you are my light. You take my hand and hold it tight. You are my
Those ults have been expelled and not locked down, especially that lockdown.
Just time.
Don't let me go.
Here we are, chat,
Safe and sound. I see a beautiful
with the final analysis of the evening.
Brown being so dominant from the attacking team, who's to say?
Here we have just hired a member of the winning team, Team TMX, which I will pay out in the predictions. Bam. And you'll notice he fires his weapon on target.
An 8-4.5 just off the fact that those ults have been expelled and not
On the head.
especially that lockdown.
Just tired. He's who's
Oh.
to say that.
Wait, I blinked.
And then poor Kunichi. The bomb is planted. Back sight with a late mid lurk. What the hell? Team Six Eyes.
You've made your defending team.
We had
waste a
full
bunch of very
sight
powerful ultimates in a single round that they
control. Oh, what are you supposed to do?
It won't be able to regain for the rest of the half.
Oh,
and with already
man.
this
We take all of heaven. We take all of ropes, and we're too afraid to plant in the open. And that is ultimately why Team 6 Eyes could not take the hub. Their preparation clearly looked worse. Team Alum was heavily prepared. And we're going to finish it with one last clip to demonstrate that.
Rounds left back from the Phoenix. Amazing vigilance.
Look at this. Look at this.
Lin needs to make impact with his operator.
Absolutely.
No
does.
Dry peek.
Great.
After the flash, we
Phoenix.
smoke.
Amazing vigilance.
After the smoke, we nade. After the nade, we molly.
On top of
Then we Astro Wall.
the sky to at least buy time, but through the smoke, also being down. Don't kill yet. But
We click their head. Thanks to the Voltaic X Woohooja Name Labs
the
playlist.
damage is
And then look at this, man. They got a rack corner. This has to be prepped. Look at this. This is prep.
really going to start to add up soon.
Safe reload. You can't contest that. You can't contest that corner. He's super
Plenty
safe.
of 1v1s that we had, however.
Look at the Astra on the other side of the map.
What do you do? What do you do? They even have the option to come back. And it's planted in the open. The late lurker. Thank you for tuning in to the grand finals of the season 1 of the Underpeel. Season 2 of the Underpeel, every single game will be streamed with professional casters. I will see you on October 1st. There's a lot more to share with you. The league will not be as simple. The games are going to get a lot more spicy. Looking forward to see you guys there. Stay tuned. Thank you, Crumber3. Thank you, Keg. Interview? What? I wasn't even paying attention. I was listening to the casters talk about their favorite apples. Who do you guys want me to interview? Which player? Who do you guys want? Who do you want? Alam? Alam, get in here. Hello. Oh wait. Now I can hear you.
Okay, sick.
Production quality right there. Congratulations, I'm winning.
Thank you, thank you.
So the casters were having this long-winded debate, and I've got to know because I got called out. What's your favorite type of apple?
Gala.
Okay, and could you rank like maybe a top 5?
Do you think I know 5 different types of apples, Hooch?
3?
I know 2.
Okay, what's your top 2 apples?
You got to go Gala, and then whatever the green one is.
Oh, wait, did you like maybe it starts with a G?
Yeah,
And-
that one. Granny Smith, whatever. it's
Yes! Let's go! Suck it, Kremer3. Basic bitch my ass. The MVP of the Underpeel Season 1 likes a Granny Smith. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. It's actually too easy. Catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Woojin out.